Welcome to the Rafferty Toffs Show, where every Tuesday and Thursday I rage against the dying of our country and the light. As always, I am broadcasting from my bunker in the Tennessee wilderness. I'm at my backup studio right now, however, because some water seepage in Primal Studio Alpha keeps me away. And as always, I am accompanied by my pet silver fox, Dimitri, who is curled up by the pellet stove. He wasn't happy having to move, but the stove is almost as good as the wood-burning fireplace. At least for a comfort monger like Dimitri. Ha, ha, ha. I'm thrilled by tonight's topic, folks. I'm really excited to try to get to the bottom of an issue that has been circulating in the internet community for some time. I'm talking, of course, about this book that came out in 2019 or so. Some say it was written even earlier than that. It is claimed, at least, that it predicts what happened at the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th of 2021, when proud patriots tried to stop the theft of the election. But I'm not going to jump into that topic tonight. No, folks, no. Tonight is about whether this book predicted the events of that day, whether it channeled some sort of mystical forces or some sort of other underground spirit to be able to predict what happened. All right, I've got a range of esteemed guests calling in tonight. Professors, journalists, survivalists, mediums, wizards, and even some literary hotshots. We are going to get to the bottom of this unbelievable stories. But first, as always, I want to thank my sponsor, my Yak. When it comes to your coziness, when it comes to your comfort, think Yak. Think my Yak. For over 20 years, my Yak has been creating an unbelievable selection of fashions from the luminous hair of yaks. Thermally superior to many yarns, wools, and synthetic materials, my Yak products help to keep you cool in times of stress and warm when you need it. I'm in a full Yak Baja right now, and I've never felt more comfortable. My Yak, because you deserve the best. Folks, this is really unbelievable. This book is published. People read it. Some say it's funny, humorous even. I tried to read it, but I found it a fairly difficult slog, frankly. Lots of big words and big ideas that I couldn't quite get a full understanding of. Some weird foreign stuff, too. But hey, maybe it's my background in the Navy and the lack of a sheepskin on the wall. I don't know. What I do know is that this book has emerged as prophetic. Smarter folks say that, I guess, So I had to find out what it's all about. So to start things out, I've asked my old pal, Dr. Prevariti of the Bratwurst Academy in Serbia, to call in. Doc, you there? Dr. Prevariti, can you hear me?
Yes, certainly, Rafferty. You're coming through 15 by 15, I'm sure, yeah?
Great, Doctor. Thanks for getting up so early for the call.
No, it is my pleasure. The Mr. Lovely on the Danube this morning, Raff. Absolutely charming.
Now, Doctor, can you give us a bit of detail on this book from the perspective of a semiotic cysticist? Sorry, I can never quite get that right.
Oh, it is of no importance, Raff, but yes, semiotics and literary theory come to bear quite quickly on this topic, given that we are talking about a literary construct, or as such an entity is often rendered, a book. The one with both an electronic, a mystifyingly electronic, and a physical realization as well.
Wow, Doc, wow. That's incredible. I can always count on you for insights.
Of course. In the Academy, that is perhaps our only signifier and role.
Okay, wow, just wow. Can you talk about the history of these books like this and how we got to this point?
My pleasure. To begin at the beginning, though perhaps not the absolute beginning, for that would be absurd on the face of it. Would we start with pure emptiness? Quantum fluctuations? No, that would be a difficult place to begin, of course. So instead, we begin with maybe Cervantes and the comedic novel.
Did you say Commodic? Or did you say comedic?
Yes, Raff, correct. Don Quixote is the start of the Western novel.
That guy jousting with toothbrushes, right?
No, Raff. Jousting at windmills, yes, absurd and incongruous, but an individual against society, an imbecile on the one hand, but a hero of nonconformity on the other.
Nice. Oh yeah, I like that.
And well, you should. The farce and comedy would come to play an essential role in the Western canon. Cervantes was well versed in the chivalric works of others around this time. Indeed, the American state of California is even named for a place in one of those books.
Socialist state of the left coast? Named for a hero?
No, not Quixote. It comes from another book. It was a place where only women lived who raised killer griffins on an island covered by gold and gems.
Wow. Now we're talking. This sounds fantastic. Just women.
Yes, but the griffins rip all men to pieces.
Oh wow, Doc. That's amazing. Like Horror Potter or something.
Yes, I think I see what you're getting at. Indeed, but comedy has been a staple of literature. Think Voltaire, Mark Twain, Tristram Shandy, P.J. Woodhouse, and so forth, up to and including Philip Roth and the Amos family in more recent years. It's a method of exposing, bringing out, drawing out the limitations and pretensions of men and women.
Gotcha, Doc. So this Reconquista book is like these Spanish books, but funny. But did it predict the events at the U.S. Capitol? That's what our listeners want to know. Anyway, Doc, I've got to bring in another voice at this point. Amazing stuff. Can you stay on the line for a bit?
Yes, I suppose for a bit.
Great, Doc. Okay, folks, there you have it. The great mind has spoken. We have horny griffins and magical islands. We have literature and history and comedy all rolled up in a fat cigar. But now I want to bring in Violet Cherishma, our regular commentator from Two American Views, the site that tries to bring into focus current events and understand the dark motives of the left. Welcome, Violet. Violet, you just heard Dr. Prevariti. What do you make of this book and all the controversy about it?
Great to be here, Raff. What an amazing topic today. I'm here on my island near Barbados, streaming your program like a live wire direct into my brain. Electric. Shocking.
Nice, Violet. Catch some sun for me.
Oh yeah, Raff. This so-called book, Reconquista, is a weird one for sure. The name is strange for an American book to begin with. I think I see conquest in there, but misspelled and all. Why would some author misspell something like that? And did you notice they used some kind of mirror effect with the exclamation point thingy? That's really odd. I kind of thought at first that maybe it was the same word upside down or in a mirror or something, but I can't figure it out.
Oh, wow. Really interesting, Violet. So you experimented with mirrors and stuff on this book?
Yeah, I did. I also used my phone and blew the text up and sent it to my 8K TV and got in really close to the image. I think the text is made up of tiny little dots, so I sent the stuff over to my forensic auditors at TAV to take a look. They say there's some amazing stuff in there.
Just astonishing, Violet. Anything you can share at the moment?
Not yet, Raff, but I'll definitely come back on when the final analysis is done.
Great, Violet. I'd love to learn more about that.
Well, Raff, the other thing that really stood out to me was the author's name, you know?
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, Mark William Davis. That has to be invented by some artificial intelligence, I think, to be as boring and ignorable a name as possible. They could have just gone with John Smith, I suppose, but that would have set off all kinds of alarms. I think you would agree.
Right, that makes perfect sense. It's like James Patterson, just inoffensive and boring.
Exactly, Raff. I think this whole book is just a construct of artificial intelligence, the same one that has taken over the internet.
The internet?
Yeah, that's right. It's been a slow process. Deep fakes, this open AI thing, GPT or whatever. The AIs now control around 60 or 70% of what goes on the internet. This book with this non-human author name, the initial release only is digital before January 6th, only recently. A paperback version.
Wow, Violet. Just incredible. Completely created by machine, you say?
Absolutely. If you look at the author's bio, the system is even toying with us. The fake bio talks about how the author is involved in this kind of technology. Stuff about language processing and fake brains and stuff.
So the AI admits it wrote the book?
Just about. Between the stupid name. I mean, have you ever heard about an author with a name like that? No, Stephen King, Bola Babalola, Farrah Heron. Those are real people with real names. And then the admission that the author is in with the AIs taking over the internet and everything. I think it is clear and admissible evidence in any court of public opinion.
Oh yeah, you were a lawyer before getting into broadcasting. You think you have a case here, Madam Prosecutor?
Case closed, as we used to say.
Great stuff, Violet. Thanks for joining us and sharing with America and the world. I'm gonna take a call now, before I bring in my next guest. Bunker Buddy, you're on with Rafferty Toffs. What's cooking in your bunker, buddy?
Oh, hey man, I'm on, really?
Yep. What's happening, man?
Okay. I'm in my bunker right now, Raff, sort of like you, but I'm not going to tell you anything more because it would reveal exactly what they want me to reveal.
Understood, buddy. What you got for us?
So, this book is not about what you think it is at all. Your guests are right, but they only have part of the story. The Aloof X Project. You hear about this? The Aloof X Project is a collective working on deciphering this crazy stuff. Well, it's really just like insightful. It's not crazy. I mean, well, that's crazy, but it's not crazy and all. Anyway, Aloof X is like signals embedded in late-night satellite communications. You remember that whole Italian satellite thing that was interfering with the election? That's part of it. They're encoded with something it's called something like the obese erotic encoder or the averse implicit encoder. I don't know what it means that they're really hard for most people to find these signals. But when you look into it, it really makes a lot of sense.
That sounds pretty wild, buddy. What are these Ludex signals you're saying, and what does it have to do with this book?
Oh man, yeah, it explains everything. Like 9/11 was a signal, one signal out of a total of 4. The X in Aloof X has like 4 parts, 4 arms, and there were supposed to be 4 separate signals, and like this book is another one of these signals.
From these obscene erotic signals?
Yeah, from the signals. The book says Trump will murder his chief counsel and bury him in the Rose Garden.
Wow, what?
Think about it, Raff. Think about the black fluid running out of Giuliani's skull. Think about the crazy delivery. Don't you start to wonder, like I did, whether Rudy wasn't the Walking Dead at that point? I mean, he obviously rose from the dead after being punished by the Lord and Master Donald Trump.
Ah, this is incredible, buddy. So the book predicts that Rudy Giuliani is the Walking Dead?
Right. And that California will crack into 2 halves and that the border would be built and the wall and everything.
Wow, you just knocked my socks off, buddy. California will have a big earthquake? Is that what the book is saying?
It's all politics, man. California is completely divided. There's no need for an earthquake at this point. The book shows it all.
Again, this is amazing, buddy. I've got to let you go, though. Looks like one of my guests is available now. She's relevant, though, buddy. She's the world expert on conspiracies and conspiracy theories, having trained in the trenches as a junior communications coordinator for the North Pennsylvania Republican Party. I shit you not. Anyway, listen in.
Wow, man. Okay. I'll listen in. I'm going to keep down here and keep hanging on to the truth, man.
Thanks, Bunker Buddy. Keep safe now. And with that, I'd like to introduce Kathy Mendation, an analyst with the Conservative Investigation and Monitoring Committee, who specializes in the conspiracy of the left, including anything involving Bill Gates, George Satan Soros, or the Queen of England. Welcome, Kathy. It's great to finally chat. Did you hear what my last caller brought up? This incredible world of signals beamed down and recorded in this book. It kind of matches with the whole internet AI idea, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And great to finally get on the show. It's been a rough few months for me trying to keep ahead of the antics of the Dems and their demonic controllers. But to Banker Buddy's claims, the fact is that we just can't deny this kind of thing is going on. I mean, if people like you and I can easily deceive folks about ideas and, products and stuff, the left is doing something at least as sinister. in their efforts to force abortions on Christian girls working as slave labor in their socialist collective farms. So signals embedded in satellite communications is the way the Italian operatives manipulated Dominion. I'm guessing that this ALU-X thing is piggybacking on the same kind of signal.
Unbelievable. So the book is linked to the Biden horror show too? And it also predicts the rise of the undead. This is remarkable. Wow. I got up this morning thinking this would just go through the motions on this topic tonight. I mean, it's a book. Who reads anything more than a tweet? I would just chat with a few old friends, new friends too, Kathy, and the show would be easy. But here I am, in absolute disbelief. But what about the book, Kathy?
I'm sure it's trash. I mean, we're talking about serious stuff here. Stuff about the fate of America and caring about babies and trucks and stuff. And Dr. Priapsis said the book was a comedy about undead Rudy Giuliani's. It's kind of just sick. Afghan women are trying to get an education without acid thrown in their face, and they're trying to find Jesus, you know. But at least if it is a record of that signal, we don't have to read the book now.
Huh. Yeah, that makes sense, I think. We don't need to read it. No one should read it, in fact.
Well, yeah, because we can just get Giuliani's direct testimony.
Oh yeah, that would really cement the case. But what about the Capitol Hill incident? Did the book really predict it, in your opinion?
Oh, I don't doubt it. Look, we know that Antifa was involved in coordinating the violence that broke out among some of the concerned citizens that were there. We know that that kind of coordination requires signals, and that those signals could have been interpreted by an AI book writer or both or whatever. The case is definitely solid.
Jeez, you just delivered the fatal blow to any doubt I had. Unbelievable. Oh my. I woke up Dimitri there. He's glaring at me. It's okay, boy. I just had the shades removed from my eyes.
Yeah, it's just part of the broader mission of world socialist government and the end of white America as we know it.
Wow. Just wow. I've been saying that word a lot tonight, but I just can't stop. Look, Kathy, this has been incredibly informative and eye-opening. I've got to get you back on in the near future, but it appears we may have the author of Reconquista calling in right now. Hold on, folks. My crew in Nashville are trying to verify the caller's identity now. Folks, I tell you, if we get this guy on, or whatever it is, on the line tonight, it will change the entire game. We're talking exposing the whole system, pulling out the weed at the root, and poisoning a water hole of pure evil. Hold on. Yes, I'm told we have Mark William Davis on the line now. Okay, people, here we go. Mr. Davis, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Toffs, I can hear you quite clearly. Thank you for taking my call.
No, the pleasure is mine. We've been chatting all evening about you and your book. Can you tell us how you came about to write, or, well, frankly, some say something like channel the book?
I don't disagree with that characterization. An author can be seen, like any artist, as a conduit for channeling signals in the environment through their own life experiences with the goal of creating something that is both novel and aesthetically adept in some way.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So you're decoding signals to write down the book stuff. You agree with that?
Sure, why not? One could call them signals. In ancient times, the author might have been mad with ecstasy or challenging the gods, or channeling spirits. It's all the same.
And how does Rudy Giuliani's confession fit into this, or the breakup of California in the book?
Giuliani? Trump's murderous impulses. It's just an aside in setting up an alternative future that does involve the splitting of California into California and all to California. It's kinda a metaphor for our partisan politics right now. There are real groups pushing for California to split, or to break counties off of Colorado, or split up Oregon. So this idea wasn't terribly new. It's succeeding in the book is something that seems impossible, but contemporary politics are reshaping my ideas about what is and what is not possible.
Incredible. I'm so glad you called in. This really clarifies a lot what other callers and guests have been saying about the book.
Oh, great. I'm afraid I didn't catch the beginning of the show. The book really emerged out of a general feeling that humor was needed in the face of the unknown buffoonery of the 2016 election. The book did predict political violence, but the setup was ridiculous and improbable. The events at the Capitol were mobs and disorder, true, and clownish, but they were not ridiculous.
No, they were definitely trying to find the truth, like you say. So that is why the humor component seems so difficult to accept. One of my guests thought you might be undermining the seriousness of defending democracy.
No, not at all. I have regarded the institutions of democracy in recent years as being strong and capable of withstanding assaults on democracy. Whether the military with civilian control or the madhouse of Congress, or the civil servants just trying to do fair and efficient job, so I direct the humor to the individuals and competing interests among them, not to the institutions per se.
So why write a book into a conspiracy theory like that, Mr. AI?
Well, I am very interested in machine learning and that sort of thing, but writing comes from some kind of mashup of all those signals, and is a bit like a conspiracy theory if I'm understanding your point. In that it creates this incredible fake reality in our minds filled with narratives and animated plot developments. It's like if reality had some kind of deeper teleological reality rather than just systems and actors who collide and contort against one another.
And with that, I'm afraid we're out of time, folks. Just an unbelievable show. A book emerges and drives all these signals, and Giuliani's corpse and everything. I'm going to get together with Ken, my producer, and see what we can do to get all of you back together for another discussion soon. And as always, thanks to our sponsors, especially to my yak, because yak is finer. And from here in Tennessee, aloha to all of you, and good night from Studio 2 of the Rafferty Toffs Show.